Forget bullets and bombs. For 50 years, two nations fought a war over a tiny rock in the Arctic using nothing but flags and bottles of booze. This is Hans Island. It's barely half a square mile of uninhabited rock, but it sat right in the middle of a border dispute between Canada and Denmark. In 1973, both nations agreed on a maritime border, but they couldn't decide who owned the island itself, so they just left it. The war officially began in 1984 when the Danish Minister for Greenland Affairs landed on the island and planted the Danish flag. But he didn't just leave a flag. He left a bottle of Danish schnapps and a cheeky note saying, "Welcome to the Danish island." Canada wasn't about to let that slide. Within weeks, Canadian troops arrived to reclaim their territory. They swapped the Danish flag for the maple leaf and left behind a bottle of Canadian Club whiskey, and so the pattern was set. For the next 5 decades, this whiskey war continued. Every few years, one side would visit, swap the flag, and leave their best local spirits for the other. It became history's most polite conflict. No shots were ever fired, and the only casualties were the livers of the soldiers who found the bottles. While the soldiers were swapping booze, diplomats were buried in maps and treaties, trying to find a legal solution to this Arctic puzzle. Under international law, countries can claim territory within 12 miles of their coast. Hans Island sits exactly in that overlap. The story eventually went viral, becoming a symbol of how international disputes could be handled with humor instead of hostility. In the mid-2000s, things got a bit more serious with official protests and Navy visits, but the weapons of choice remained the same. With the Arctic changing and new resources becoming accessible, both nations realized it was time to finally settle the score. In June 2022, after nearly 50 years of fighting, Canada and Denmark reached an agreement. They decided to simply split the island in two. This created the first ever land border between Canada and Europe, a tiny rocky bridge between two continents. Crucially, the deal ensured that the local Inuit people would still have the freedom to move and hunt across the entire island. The Whiskey War shows us that even the most stubborn territorial disputes don't have to end in tragedy. Sometimes, all you need is a little spirit. So here's a toast to Canada and Denmark for showing the world that a war can be fought with hospitality instead of hate. Today, Hans Island is a symbol of cooperation, a place where two nations chose friendship over a few acres of rock. If you enjoyed this story of history's most polite war, make sure to like and follow for more fascinating tales from around the globe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.